All right, everybody. Well, welcome. Welcome to another edition of Marilyn's Cafe Society radio show right here. I keep saying radio show. Marilyn's Cafe Society YouTube show right here on YouTube. Marilyn's Cafe Society. Thank you so much for tuning in. Boy, I missed you. I missed doing this. Of course, it was voluntary. I took a week off just to, relax, rejuvenate, get myself together. I just needed it. It was a nice break that was needed. And of course, I got some things done. I didn't get some things done, but nevertheless, I am back and I'm happy to be here with you on this day. Speaking of this day, it is Saturday, June the 9th, 2018, the 160th day of the year. And so, again, glad to be back on board with you. So we do have some guests who will be popping in a bit later on in the show. Of course, sharing some fun information on the one hand and some serious information on the other hand. And so we'll be checking in with them a little bit later. As I stated, I did have a birthday in the middle of my break, and I just spent some time reflecting. And one of the things that I decided to do, because I do on this day in history here on this show, I kind of looked back. I was curious about the news and what was going on and what people were doing back when I was born, which is May 30th. And I did take a peek back. Turns out I was born on a Thursday, and a whole lot was going on. This country was in the middle of a civil rights of the civil rights era, and of course, some serious things were going on, and we'll take a look at that. I'll share that in a minute. But just on the fun side, here are some of the top songs that people were listening to back then. The Beach Boys, Surfing in the USA, Leslie Gore, It's My Party, Jimmy Soul, If You Want to Be Happy, and Sam Cooke, Another Saturday Night. All right, so those were some of the songs that people were jamming to. Of course, there were others who were in the top 10 list as well, but those were some of the more popular ones during the year and day that I was born. Also, the top movie that everyone was running to see was Nutty Professor. Not the one that the younger crowd may think about, but the original Nutty Professor movie that featured Jerry Lewis. Yeah. And then the top television show that everyone was listening. And some of you may remember this. I remember the reruns and hearing the title. But Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Remember that show? Again, my contemporaries were catching the reruns, I'm sure. But that was the TV show that a lot of people were watching back when I was born. And so the president was John F. Kennedy, and the vice president was Lyndon B. Johnson. And he made history on the day I was born. Back in the day I was born, May 30th, was Memorial Day. No matter, what day of the week it fell on, the country celebrated Memorial Day on May 30th. And then later on in history, the official day of celebration for Memorial Day was changed to always fall on that last Monday in the month of May. So back when I was born, though, Memorial Day was May 30th, and Lyndon B. Johnson delivered this soul-stirring speech called the Memorial Day Speech at Gettysburg. And of course, it was all in commemoration of Memorial Day, referencing the Gettysburg battle that took place later on in that summer. Back then, not in when I was born, but way back then when we were in the midst of the Civil War. But anyway, you can go online and find the actual speech and read it. It's very stirring. And it all was happening or or right after Martin Luther King Jr.'s soul-stirring speech as well. So the message of this Memorial Day speech at Gettysburg was to urge Americans to support civil rights and to acknowledge that there was a problem here in the United States with the treatment of African Americans in particular, and that it all needed to change. And so again, check that speech out. You will thoroughly be moved. And I think even now today, sadly, it's still it's still something that we need to hear. So check it out when you get a chance. And then, of course, we know that Lyndon B. Johnson later became president after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And by 1964, he had signed the Civil Rights Act into law. So those are just some of the things that were happening on the day that I was born. But here's what was happening on this day in history, this day, June 9th. This day in history, taking you way back to 1650. Harvard University has two corporations, and this particular one became the first corporation established here in the United States of America, and it was called the Harvard Corporation. Again, it became the first legal corporation here in the United States of America. Now, I didn't check into it, but I just wonder if it registered as a foreign or domestic corporation. I'll check that out and maybe share it with you later, or that's something that you can look up for yourself. All right. And in more recent history on this day, going back 40 years ago to 1978, on this day in history, Larry Holmes beat Ken Norton in 15 rounds of boxing, making him the heavyweight champion. I vaguely remember, all the men around in the neighborhood in my household kind of talking about that fight. But that's what happened 40 years ago on this day in history. All right, so we're going to shift gears now, and sadly, we've been made aware of the alarming rate, or increase, I should say, in suicide here in this country. Of course, we know that it happens probably every day, but when it happens with, a famous person, an iconic person, it sort of, brings everything back to the forefront and causes discussion. And so the first one that I'm referencing is the news that we heard fashion designer Kate Spade took her own life. Of course, of those people who support that iconic brand, buying the purses and the jewelry and the watches and everything, probably never even thought about who Kate Spade is. There are some fashion conscious people who really do know what they're buying, but even to that extent, not realizing that that is a person, and that person has, a life, a family. And, this news of her taking her life sort of made us all aware of the fact that she had some serious struggles happening with her in her life. And sadly, it eventually ended with her taking her own life, and she pulled away. There have been reports throughout the media outlets that her family had become very concerned about her because she was pulling away from family. Reports that she, I guess, apparently got worse after hearing about Robin Williams' suicide, actor Robin Williams, and thought that she had somehow become fixated with him taking his life. Anyway, just a tragic story. And then, of course, just a day or two ago, hearing about Anthony Bourdain, the TV host for CNN's Parts Unknown series, where he, traveled all around the world and reported on from restaurants and culture and food. And he's also an author seemingly to many, living that fairy tale life. But sadly, there were some things happening with him internally as well. He was found in France in a hotel, unresponsive, and later declared that it was a suicide that happened with him. And so, again, these reports have sparked conversation, not just on national news shows, but also on social media. I did spend some time over the last few days on social media, just kind of, perusing through and reading some of the dialogue that was happening there, or just clicking on some of the other links from other news organizations that may have featured experts and depression and suicidal tendencies and all of that. And so much information has come out as a result of that. And, we know that, people can be clinically depressed, but not suicidal. But sometimes the depression becomes so severe that they do become suicidal. And then some people have something tragic or traumatic happen in their life, and that kind of triggers them to fall into thoughts of suicide. And bullying has been one factor that has been blamed for suicide, particularly amongst young people, in middle school and high school. There has been an uptick in suicide with our young people as well. And then I dug a little deeper, and I discovered that, some people are subscribed certain medications that, some of the side effects may be suicidal thoughts or tendencies. So folks, all I'm saying is we have to be careful. There's a lot, that's happening in the world, and others say, people who take their own lives live a life void of the higher power, our Heavenly Father, God, Jesus Christ. And that's why they are able to take their own lives, and that may be, one factor, but I think I kind of, summed up maybe the top 4 reasons why people do this. Again, there was talk that, people have become disconnected, not only in families, but also as society in general, how this social media information age has really overtaken our lives. And so rather than sit across the table and talk face to face to each other, or pick up the telephone and talk to each other, and not in a hurry, but really to kind of look after each other, and that quick "how you doing" and keep it moving is not working. We really need to ask people, how are you doing, and really pause to get their response, and I guess maybe learn to read people, or ask for the ability to have that spiritual discernment, so that you can really see what people are feeling, how they're really feeling. In the case of Kate Spade, again, she pulled away from her family, and so I guess they felt helpless to some degree. But I think that we have to, if people are responding that way, if they're in their depression and they're responding to your concerns in that way, don't give up. Just keep reaching out, keep checking, be careful. And again, pay attention to those medications, because some of those pain medications and others have side effects that do alter the brain and the thought process and cause people to want to commit suicide. And again, for the family, it comes out of the blue, but this is something that you should consider looking at as well. Okay. But I do think that we do, you know, because of what I do, in my own opinion, I think sometimes I spend a lot of time on social media, but it's, you know, it's a way to connect to the world for me, you know. But let's not, you know, and this is a challenge for myself too, let's not allow these toys, these technology toys, to replace real human communication, interaction, concern for each other. You know what I mean? You hear people talk about this all the time, and I've even observed how you could have 4 or 5 people together in one room, and everyone, as opposed to talking to each other, communicating with each other, everyone's on their device, you know, trying to see what's going on their device, or texting, or on social media. When you have 4 other human beings in the room with you that you can actually have a serious, heartfelt conversation with. So let's not let human interaction and conversation fall to the wayside, you know, because people need people. People need to connect emotionally to other human beings. And let's not let that fall to the wayside as we continue to grow in this information technology world. All right. I'm getting off my soapbox. That's all I have to say about that. And speaking about technology and business, did you hear about Google? My goodness. Here, listen to this. Apparently, there has been some concern about Google using artificial intelligence for weapons. Now, you know, it gets a little deeper. This whole ethical issue came out as a result of a firestorm of employee resignations from Google and public criticism over their contract with the Department of Defense for software that could help analyze drone video, which critics argue had nudged the company one step closer to the business of war. And so as a result of that, there's been this new rule that really, some are saying could set the stage for artificial intelligence far beyond Google. There's others out there, aside from Google, who are dabbling in artificial intelligence that could be, you know, questionable. Now, of course, we know about the self-driving cars. We know about the automated assistants. Robotics has been around for a while now, but this military artificial intelligence is what's concerning people. Now, Google executives have come out and said that they will not renew the deal for the military's artificial intelligence endeavor, which is known as Project Maven. However, they do plan to continue to work with the government and the military in the arenas of cybersecurity, also in training for cybersecurity, veterans healthcare, search and rescue efforts, and military recruitment. So, but here's the deal. If not Google, then who else? So this whole idea of artificial intelligence and war games or war play is of concern. So we'll have to stay on top of that and watch that. All right. All right. And then Facebook announced earlier in the week that there was a bug that caused some 14 million people's private posts to be shared publicly. Now, apparently they were working on redesign, which would allow a better way to allow the information that those who have private settings, but there are some aspects of their Facebook that they do allow to be public. They were working on trying to tweak that to make it more secure. And as a result, unfortunately shared 14 million people's private posts publicly. Now, they said by May 27th, the problem had been corrected, but, I just wonder how many people actually knew that was going on back in May. All right, and then automaker Kia is recalling more than 500,000 cars because the airbags may not deploy when in a crash. And of course, the problem has been linked to 4 deaths in the crashes, and it involves Kia as well as, let's get rid of that call, involves Kia as well as their auto affiliate Hyundai. Now, of course, they're saying that Kia and Hyundai combined with the recalls affect some 1.1 million vehicles. And of course, this all stemmed from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, who opened an investigation on these problems back in March. So if you own a Kia or a Hyundai, you need to make sure that you check in with your local dealer to see if your car is one of those cars that are on the recall list. All right, and then in the stock market, it looks like the Dow is up 75.12, so is the S&P 500, 8.66, and the NASDAQ up 10.44. Stocks on the move going up. Stitch Fix Inc., which is an online clothing retailer, Cooper Co., which is an eye care and surgical products company. Philip Morris is up along with Verizon, and so is Monster Beverage Corporation. Those that are struggling a bit include Broadcom Inc. They're down, as well as KLA, Tencor, and Lunmenton Holdings. All right. All right, well, that's your cafe news. Now we're going to switch gears a bit. Of course, we're in the middle of festival season, everyone. Festivals going on everywhere, right? Of course, the big Naperville Rib Fest, along with, not Naperville, they're having a Rib Fest in Chicago, as well as the Blues Festival that's going on in Chicago. And then another festival that is happening locally here in the Joliet community. And we're going to get a young lady on the phone who is going to share more with us about this local festival that folks can look forward to. And let's get it dialed up and talk to our guest. Okay, so we'll just, we'll wait a bit and then try another minute or two. And then if not, we'll move on to another guest that we're going to have on the show in a minute or two. But as I was saying, it's festival season. And so festivals are going on all over the place. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Hi, yeah. I just saw you trying to call me. I'm not sure why it didn't ring. My phone didn't ring, even though I could see you trying to call me.
Okay.
But,
all right. Well, let me introduce you, Erica. Everyone, This is Erica Wood Bidet. She is, of course, an entrepreneur, special events producer, and so much more here in the local community where the show broadcasts. And she's stopping by the cafe to kind of talk about her business for a minute and then to share with you guys a festival. Erica, I was just telling everyone that it's festival season.
yes, it is, definitely. We've been to a couple recently, me and my son and I, in the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm getting geared up for I'm having a cartoon festival on next weekend, next Friday, June 15th, for families. So it's going to be a low-cost If that interests people, it gives people something to do. I heard you were talking about, connecting with people, and not just like real connections. And I'm trying to do events that where people can connect with each other and families can spend time hanging out. So this will be at 6 o'clock on Friday, June 15th at Trinity Christian School, 901 Shorewood Drive in Shorewood, Illinois, 60404. And what it is it's going to be, like I said, low-cost family entertainment. And for $3 a person, families can come in and we're going to watch classic Looney Tunes cartoons on a big screen in the Trinity Christian School cafetorium. So there's comfortable seats in there as well. We're going to be watching classic Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, Sylvester, Tweety, Daffy Duck, and the Tasmanian Devil. We're actually going to be watching the first, we're going to start off with the first Looney Tunes cartoon that featured Bugs Bunny, called Wild Hair. And so we'll watch that, and then we'll watch a variety of other ones. In between, there'll be raffles, and a raffle ticket is included with the $3 price. And there are also, I have like a life-size Black Panther cutout, and so kids will be able to take pictures with Black Panther, have some other photo props, and we may have some other little games as well. So this is going to be a fun thing for families to do on a Friday night, in the comfort of some air conditioning, and a chance to get out and do something a little different.
Yeah, it sounds very exciting. And so you're catering to parents who may have grown up with some of these Looney Tune cartoon characters and introducing their children to them. Because I don't even know if Bugs Bunny is still current, is he?
Well, you know what? I've actually been surprised. Kids know Bugs Bunny. And I've had kids come up when I've been talking about it. They know Bugs Bunny. And I think there may be some Looney Tunes that's still on different TV channels. So I had a kid talking to me about Tom and Jerry. So they don't know a lot about them, but they do know some of the more famous ones.
Yeah, this is a great idea. And of course, your business, Erica, is what is your business? Tell us about it.
I'm sorry, backing up. Yes. So as you said, I am an entrepreneur, and so for the last 4 to 5 years, I've been baking. So I'm a teacher by profession, so I'm a teacher during the school year, but during the summer in particular, I've been selling what I bake at farmers markets and festivals, and I've also, I make cupcakes and custom cakes for people and things like that. So I've been doing that for the last 4 or 5 years, and so I wanted to kind of expand that, and like I said, I wanted to sell my food because I'm going to be selling my food as a concession at this. But I also wanted, again, to give something for families to do that's low cost and it's a little different than, the average where we watch, sometimes a lot of these festivals, you go out and you watch the movie on a big screen outside and stuff. But I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if we could watch, something like a little bit more classic that kids would still be interested in, that's fun.
Yeah.
So, that's how I got this idea. But yeah, so I bake in my spare time, and so this is all going to be part of that. I'll be selling concessions, and not just what I bake. I'll be selling, popcorn and some other things just as a concession in addition to what I bake. We'll have dipped pretzels. I've got this, like one of those chocolate stream machines where it melts the chocolate and you can stick candy or whatever in it, like fruit and stuff. So I've got one of those, and so people will be able to have fruit on a skewer or marshmallows or whatever and stick it in the chocolate fountain.
Chocolate fountain, yeah.
Yes, that's what it's called, chocolate fountain. And like I said, we'll have popcorn, we'll have pretzels, we'll have some other things as well. Probably like some chips or something like that, and as well as some of the things that I make. So yeah, it's going to be a fun event, and it is going to be a way for me to sort of expand on what I'm doing.
Very good. Well, listen, it sounds like a great idea. It's an alternative to outdoors, of course, being indoors, which is really safe, because, we're in that time where the weather could be inclement, it could rain or storm or anything. So it will be indoors at the Trinity Christian School, 901 Shorewood Drive in Shorewood, Illinois. That's Friday, June 15th, 6 p.m. Family-friendly event, family-oriented, lots of refreshments. And, of course, Erica Wood Biddy is presenting this through her baking business. It's $3 per person, and that's at the door. They don't have to buy in advance, right?
No, no buying in advance. It's just $3 at the door.
Okay.
Now, I did want to say, so I got 4 tickets that I wanted to give away to the first 2 people that text me at. I'm going to give people this number. So I'll give each one of those people 2 tickets. Okay, so they need to text me at 815-981-2744, and they can text their name and the word Looney, okay, and each one of those people will receive 2 tickets.
What was that number again?
It's 815-981-2744.
All right, and that's for 2 passes to the event?
Yes, for each person, the first 2 people will each receive 2 passes to the event. They need to text me their name and the word Looney.
Name and the word Looney.
Yes.
And then if you're not texting and you want to jump on Marilyn's Cafe Society's Facebook page and just comment under my last post about the show, put your name and Looney, and we'll figure it out, Erica. We'll see who checks in first, either through your text or on the Facebook page, and then we can, award those 2 people the 2 passes to your event.
Yes, we can do that. And also, because I am planning some events in the future, I'm looking at some different things. Possibly, if this is a success, having another cartoon festival and just some other stuff, some of which may be outside. So if people are interested in getting on a mailing list, they can also either text me or, put that in your comment section and give me or text me some information, like their email address, and then I can add them to the mailing list so that I can give them information about future events. Even if you don't end up going to this one, I am going to be having things in the future.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll make sure we put that out there. Again, the text number is 815-981-2744, or you can go to Maryland's Cafe Society Facebook page and type your name and the word Looney, Looney, to pick up the passes, and leave your email so that we can forward that information on to Erica as well, so you can be on her hit list for future upcoming events.
Yes.
All right, Erica. Well, listen, thank you so much for stopping by the Cafe Society. And I'm not sure. I think I'm busy that Friday, but if not, I will definitely pop through and check out your event.
Well, thank you, and thank you, Marilyn, for giving me the time.
Sure, absolutely. Best wishes to you, and stay in touch.
All right, thank you.
All right, peace.
Bye.
All right, Erica Wood Beatty, of course, entrepreneur, educator, special events producer. Her first event coming up Friday, June 15th, 6 p.m. Looney Tune Cartoon Festival, it's called. It's family-oriented, 901 Shorewood Drive in Shorewood. It's the Trinity Christian School, $3 per person. That's it. And of course, there will be refreshments, beverages available there. And if you want to pick up a pass for 2, be the first 2 people to text her at 815-981-2744, or you can Facebook me at Maryland's Cafe Society on Facebook to let me know that you're interested. Text your name or Facebook in the comment section, your name and the word Looney. so that you can get those tickets and the time that you actually send the text or comment so that we'll know who was first. All right. All right. So we have to move on, everybody. I told you that today is an action-packed day. We have another guest on standby. I opened up the show, of course, talking about my birthday and, things that I did for my birthday, of course, using it as a time to reflect and review and all of that. And one thing that I did not do that my next guest is going to share with you that you should do.
Hello.
Well, hello there, Megan. How are you?
Hi, Marilyn. I'm great. How are you doing today?
I am fantastic. Happy to be on the YouTube again, and of course to have you on as my guest.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this today.
All right. So listen, I just want to let folks know who I'm talking to. Of course, it's Megan Gorman. She is founder, CEO of Checks. Oh, how do you say that, Megan?
You say it's Checkers. So it sounds like the game, but spelled with a Q.
Yeah.
Named after a place in England.
Checkers Financial. And of course, you're a writer for Forbes magazine and so much more. We'll put some more information out about you and how people can reach out to you after we talk. But thanks for joining me for our cafe talk.
I'm looking forward to it. I think we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, I was sharing with the audience. I was off last Saturday because it all, my time off kind of revolved around it being my birthday and just needing a break, a time to refresh, rejuvenate, renew. And, I was sharing that I spent some time doing some reflecting on my goals. You know what we do the end of the year or the first of the new year. But one of the things that I did not do, Megan, and I stumbled upon your piece written in the Forbes magazine on how to use your birthday as a point to review your financial situation in life, your financial items that you need to review.
Right. Well, first of all, happy birthday, Marilyn. I hope you had a fabulous day.
Thank you.
But I think you're talking about what's really important here, which is using your birthday for reflection. And I would tell most people I work with typically my clients are high net worth individuals. And what I would tell you in observing them is that they are all very good at creating rituals or repeatable actions where they can reflect on where they are financially. And so for the rest of us mere mortals, right, birthday is a great moment to sit back and really think about where am I financially? Because finances are really hard. And if you're anything like me, you've probably had a mix of some really positive financial moments and probably some negative ones. And that's one of the things that's important here is when you are financially savvy, it's not about being perfect, but it's about navigating all the different obstacles put in front of us. Okay. And so when you get to a birthday, it's a good point to sit back and stop. And I'm assuming that's what you did last weekend.
I did. My first concern was just to check my health, and then career goals, right? We always look at our career goals and our relationships and just general life goals. But I thought about money in relation to my career or business goals, but not the way you broke it down.
Yeah, and I think to your point, we think about money sometimes in certain ways. Mm-hmm. I think on a birthday, and this happens with all of us, but all of us have a year to reflect back on. And when you reflect back, I think it's important to think about, did you have any life events, right? Did you have a baby? Did you get married? Did your children have children? Right? Because all of those sort of big life events really mean something financially. So to use something from my own personal situation, I don't have children, but my brother and his wife are pregnant. And so that's one of those moments that makes you stop and look and say, okay, when I think about my assets, when I think about my financial life, is my estate plan up to date? Does it reflect the fact that I've gotten married or there's a new member of the family? And a lot of people don't realize, but some of the things with estate planning that we should do is not only have a will, but also check our beneficiary designation. So, like with your job, you might have a 401k or an IRA or any type of plan that has a beneficiary designation. Mm-hmm. And on your birthday, looking back at the life events you had the previous year, you should look to maybe make a change with your beneficiary designation. So for example, if you got married last year, maybe in the past you had your siblings as your beneficiary, but now you change it to your spouse.
Okay.
And those little checkups really make a difference from a planning standpoint. So that's one of the things with life events with a birthday that's key.
Got it. Yeah. So these are things, folks, that we should be doing at the very least on our birth dates. And this is great. I appreciate that. Another tip that you shared, Megan, was to review our future income streams.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Oh my goodness. So Marilyn, one of the things I want you to do after your show today, because it's really important, is I want you to check where you are with Social Security. Okay? And there's a lot of press that came out this week that Social Security is underfunded and so on. Now just keep in mind, and all your listeners should keep in mind, that to fund Social Security, they just have to tax us more. Okay? So there's a really good chance we're all going to have Social Security. But you want to understand how much that will be. So what I would tell everyone is go to FSA.gov, that's the Social Security site, and create an account. And you log in, and you go through some security process. But what they'll show you is your reported earnings to Social Security. And you should make sure it's accurate. But while you're in there, you can also see what your Social Security benefit would be at certain ages. Yeah. Now, depending on what decade you were born in, your Social Security full retirement age might be different. Okay? Mm-hmm. So everybody's eligible to get Social Security at 62. But did you know, Marilyn, if you take it at 62, you're taking a discount?
Right. Yes.
Right. So what you want to figure out is, okay, what would I get at 62, but what if I wait to my full retirement age? Yeah, maybe your full retirement age is 66, or maybe it's 67, but once you get to full retirement age, right, your benefit is the full benefit awarded to you to Social Security.
Yes.
And what's even more interesting is if you wait until you're 70, you get an additional amount of Social Security. Right? They give you sort of a kicker for waiting.
Right.
So which is unbelievable.
Right. So I was reading an article a few years back where it's projected that people will be working longer. You know, of course, we all dream of early retirement at 62, but the article projected that we all are, well, the average American will more than likely end up working, like you just referenced, to age 70 or even beyond.
Right, because remember, Social Security and the whole retirement system is based on modeling they did in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, right? Mm-hmm. So Social Security, it used to be people lived to about 60, so they got Social Security for a year. You know, if they lived beyond 60 in the 1930s, they would have gotten Social Security for a year or two, and then they died. But nowadays, we're all living into our 90s or 100s, mm-hmm. And it's likely that there's a really strong likelihood, Marilyn, that you'll live to 100.
Yes.
And so making sure you really get the full Social Security benefit is going to be important.
Absolutely.
So checking on Social Security is key. And then at the same time, right, when you're doing this sort of birthday checkup, you check on your Social Security benefits, and then you should look and see how your 401k is doing. So employers spend a lot of money on 401k plans to have calculators in them. And even if you're doing an IRA with a Schwab or a Vanguard or a Fidelity, they also have the same calculators. Okay. So on this sort of birthday ritual, you should go on your 401k or your IRA site and look at the calculator and figure out, okay, what do I need to do to be successful in retirement? Because if you look at what you're going to get from your 401k or your IRA, and you look at what you're going to get from Social Security, that's going to give you a good gauge of the income you have coming in. Yes. And that income, once you start taking it, has to get you through to the day you die.
Yes, yes. And for government workers, was that the 403?
The 403B. Good point, Marilyn.
Yeah.
So anything that's a retirement plan, you just want to, on your birthday, go in and check on it. Mm-hmm. And just make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Absolutely. Now, I'm telling you, this is good information. And of course, the ssa.gov website is where you can find that statement. Remember, we used to get those statements. I think your article even referenced it. We used to get the statements around our birthday from the Social Security Administration.
Yes. And by the way, like, we used to get them. They were a great birthday card. Yeah. And then they stopped. Yeah. It was cost cutting by the government. Yep. So nowadays, and by the way, it's okay because it's online, right? Yeah. And you want to be able to go online and see it. And if you're a married couple, both of you should go online. Because if both of you work, you both might get your full Social Security benefit. There's a lot of different ways you can look at Social Security. Mm-hmm. But I really encourage all of your listeners, this is great information that's out there. It's given to you by the government. It gives you some perspective of where you stand. Absolutely. And I think, Marilyn, if you think about it, right, if you think about the life events you had, you take a look at your Social Security and your retirement plans and see where you are, there's something you really should do. And it's almost like a birthday card to yourself. And that is, you should write down your goals, your financial goals. And it sounds really corny, it sounds really hokey, but let me tell you, it actually works. They've done a lot of studies on if you write down your financial goals, you have a better chance of achieving them. And so what I tell people to do is, on your birthday, come up with a goal that you can meet by your next birthday. And maybe it's something as simple as, I want to save, I want to start a cash reserve, and I want to have saved $5,000.
Gotcha.
Or I want to increase my 401k contribution by 1%. Right? These little goals, if you keep doing this year after year on your birthday, it really adds up. But I always tell people, you know what? Put a big goal down there. Put a big long-term goal. Like, I want to have $1 million. Sounds like, when you first write it down, you think to yourself, that's a big goal. I don't know if I can get there, right? But if you do the little goals every year on your birthday, you will get there. Because the magic of retirement planning and the magic of your finances is it's not winning the lottery or one day you find a whole pot of money. It's all those little pieces that you sort of add up year after year after year, that by the time you're 70, you look back and go, oh my goodness, I have money.
And one of the goals could be learning more about investing and other ways that you can create streams of income, because it's not too late, right? For maybe someone who is celebrating a birthday like I did, and I'm definitely not a millennial, but it's not too late to look into investments, right?
No, it's never too late. And what I tell a lot of people is keep it simple. So the beauty of the investment internet age is everything has gotten easier. I mean, do you remember back in the 90s trying to invest? I mean, it was confusing, right? You had to call someone. It was not meeting in person.
Or the investment clubs.
Right. You had to make time and physically be somewhere. And now you can learn investing at night on your iPad before you go to sleep. And so if you're out there, right, and this applies to everybody, if you're out there and you're like, I really want to do an IRA, or I really want to fund an account and want to invest, keep it simple. And go to some of the best providers are Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard. because they have made the investing process straightforward. They've got great videos. They've got great reading material. And you can even go on YouTube and learn the basics, because the simple basics of investing are key. And for 99% of us, doing a target retirement fund is exactly what you should be thinking about.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you, this is so good. So not only on our birth dates should we be checking, our health status and career goals, relationships, but we should also make look into our financial well-being and make sure everything is where it should be. As Megan was sharing, the first tip is to look at those major life events, marriages, births, et cetera, and how it could have affected your estate planning, right? And if you don't have estate planning, maybe now is the time to get that done. Also, we talked about future income streams, looking ahead, planning ahead, trying to determine what your Social Security amount will be when you hit retirement age, along with your other 401ks or 403bs or whatever future stream of income that you may have. And then, of course, lastly, Megan, you said that folks should be setting goals, and not only in your head, because I'm a good head person, I'll set goals in my head, but to write them down, right?
Yep, write them down. I don't know, Marilyn, if you did this, but, I think every little bit helps. And, all of us, I think we all have to remember, regardless of how much money you have, all of us have the same financial issues. And I know it sounds silly to say that, but, whether you're trying to fund your IRA for the first time or you're a millionaire already, it's all the same issues for everybody. And so these are all good rituals to do.
Yes, it applies to us all, from birthday to birthday, short-term goals. This could also fall into their businesses too, right? Your last birthday, you may have had a profit of 100,000. Now, for your next birthday, you want to increase that, 20%, 30%, or whatever. Just some benchmarks to keep you on track, right?
Correct. I think always taking a step back and looking at where you are, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your personal finances, and even in your emotional relationships with people. You have to ask yourself from time to time, where do I want to, where am I, and where do I want to go with this? And I think it's really important just to always take the temperature and figure out, am I going in the direction I want to go? It's like John Lennon said, life happens to you while you're busy making other plans. And that's very true. And that's why I think if you stop and you pause, the power of that pause can really just change the whole dynamic. Absolutely.
Well, I tell you, these are good. And I certainly appreciate the piece that you wrote on this. It just kind of made me think, oh, wow, I really need to do this as well. It's definitely something that we all can add to our birthday rituals, as you put them.
Okay, and Marilyn, I might come after the show. I want to hear what one of yours is, because I'll call you in a year. Make sure you did it.
Okay. All right. I have some homework.
Homework.
That's
yes,
right.
Exactly. It's your future birthday present that you're getting for yourself.
Very good. That's awesome. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate it so much. Now tell people how they can reach you if they want more advice or information.
You can find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @WealthIntersect. And then my blog site is thewealthintersection.com, or you can find me on Forbes. I'm a Forbes contributor, and we talk about a lot of different things, from funding your health savings account to why Beyonce is teaching her daughter, Blue Ivy, fabulous financial lessons. So we like to talk about a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, some good information that you share. And again, I'm appreciative of you and you sharing some time on this Saturday to stop by the Cafe Society.
Well, thank you so much, Marilyn, and thanks to all the listeners out there. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you. I'll be in touch, Megan.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
All right. Megan Gorman, of course, CEO of Checkers Financial. And of course, you can find her on Forbes with her financial pieces that she writes about. She's on Twitter at Wealth Interceptors. And just Google her and you'll find out more ways to get important information on this new ritual that we're all going to start with our birthdays, and that one, of course, being checking our financial well-being. Again, as Megan shared, sort of analyze and revisit major life events that happened in your life from birthday to birthday and how it may have affected some of your finances. Also, to review your future income streams, starting with the Social Security Administration, Social Security, that's ssa.gov, to take a look at that annual statement that we used to get in the mail, but now it's available online. Also, if you have 401ks or the 403bs or other investments, just kind of doing some projecting from year to year, and certainly looking ahead to retirement, and we're trying to sort of figure out where you're going to be with your income in the future, so that you can start planning that, and that retirement won't be a strain for you. And then lastly, she talked about the importance of setting goals, not only setting them, but actually writing them down short term from birthday to birthday, increasing your savings, increasing your investments, increasing your business goals. And also she talked about those long-term goal settings of, where do you want your business to be financially in 20, 30 years, or by retirement? What can you do if you set the goal of you want to have earned $1 million by your retirement date? What are the things that you need to do to make that happen? And of course, we talked about investing as an option. It's never too late to get started with your investing through an IRA, as she recommended. Of course, you can go through Fidelity Investments, Schwab, and Vanguard are some of the sources that Erica shared. So Megan shared. So thank you again, Megan Gorman, writer for Forbes magazine and Forbes.com, and CEO of Checkers Financials. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we are going to get ready to wrap up this show. But before we go, we do have some entertainment news that I would like to share with you guys. Let's see. Prince. Yeah, Prince had a birthday on Thursday. Did you guys know that? I know those who love Prince did. Prince, the musician, the iconic musician that we all love. And of course, sadly, we lost him a few years ago. But anyway, all in celebration of his 60th birthday, which was this past Thursday. I believe it's Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers announced that they will be releasing later on in the fall, I think in September, one of the albums that they put together. Remember, they discovered that he had all this music that had never been released in his place of residence. And so the first album was going to be released. It's entitled Piano and a Microphone, 1983. These are songs that are played by the piano from his catalog of 1983. And of course, it includes the first version of, let's see, was it Purple Rain? And then the B-side, which was 17 Days. and so many others. And then there are some unreleased originals that will also be included on that album that are a bit controversial, but just get ready, folks. Again, that date is going to be in September of this year. And then they announced that there are more to come. He had so much music that, his fans will be able to purchase new music, which it turns out is just music that he had forever that was never released, but it will be new music to us because it will be the first time we will hear it. All right, so I'm looking forward to that. And did you wear your purple on Thursday? I did, and I think I did some posts on some of the social media. All right. Also, for those who loved Legally Blonde, the movie, well, Reese Witherspoon found a creative way to let her fans know that there will be a Legally Blonde 3 movie coming out soon. And they said she did it on Instagram by showing just a video clip of her floating in the pool wearing the bikini that she wore in the original film. So that's coming up. That's something that folks can look forward to. And then, of course, Oprah was in the news again. And of course, it's all about her new exhibit, this exhibit that's going to be displayed at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. It's called Watching Oprah, the Oprah Winfrey Show and American Culture. I'm telling you, she touched us. She really did. It's reported that the exhibit is about 4,300 square feet, and it's going to run through June of 2019. So for a whole year, it's going to be there. And it's divided into 3 sections. The first section is called America Shapes Oprah. And that's from the 1950s through the 1980s, from, when she was born and how she got into radio and then eventually television and landed in Chicago. And the second part of it is called that section was America Shapes Oprah, and then the Oprah Winfrey Show is the second section, and that's when she finally arrived. That section shows artifacts and exhibits of the Oprah Winfrey Show when she arrived to Chicago, of course, starting out as a host on AM Chicago on ABC 7, back then it was WLS TV, and then, of course, after a few years of hosting that show, she was so popular and so loved that, she landed her own show, the Oprah Winfrey Show. And so that section will feature the Oprah Winfrey Show will feature all of that. And then lastly, Oprah Shapes America is the last section of the exhibit, where she became iconic and began to affect change here in the American society and really the world at large. So I'm hearing that it's spectacular. It debuted or opened on Friday to the public, and I believe for most of the week there have been other little private things happening there in celebration of this exhibit. So congratulations, Oprah. So well deserved. And every time folks think that we've heard the last of Oprah, there's something new that we're thrilled to learn about. So this is fantastic. Again, on my list of places to go, especially now, so that I can see this exhibit before it leaves. All right. And last but not least, here's how the Chicago Sun-Times put it: how sweep it is. Yeah, I'm not a hater. The Golden State Warriors have a small place in my heart. I mean, they have KD now, after all, and Steve Kerr is the coach, who has a special place in my heart. They, of course, beat up on the Cavaliers, and last night's game was just shameful. I didn't even want to watch it. I didn't even take to Twitter till it was over, just to congratulate them, because I did want the Cavaliers to win. But nevertheless, they won in a sweep, game 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's over. I was hoping that God would intervene. There would be some kind of divine intervention that would happen, but it didn't. I think some of the commentators from the NBA was saying that never in NBA history has a team come back from a 3-0 deficit, so I don't know. I thought that happened with the Bulls once, but maybe not. So, yeah, congratulations, Golden State Warriors. You guys deserve it. Stephen Curry, all you guys deserve it. Of course, Kevin Durant walked away as the MVP. So congratulations to him and all of that stuff. And LeBron James and all the Cleveland Cavaliers, keep your head up. It's all right. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. There's a lot of talk and speculation that he's going to leave Cleveland now because he wants to win. And a lot of people are the sports analysts and reporters and professionals are in the sports arena are saying that he doesn't have the support on the team that he needs to secure another NBA championship for Cleveland. So there's a possibility that he may leave. Of course, we know that Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City Thunder to join the San Antonio Spurs so that he could experience what it's like to actually win an NBA championship. So it remains to be seen whether or not not Kevin Durant, but LeBron James, whether or not he will leave the Cleveland Cavaliers in pursuit of having that experience again, or will Cleveland cough up some money and bring in, a better roster of support for him? I don't know. It's got to be a terrible feeling, though, for the other members of the team, to hear people say he doesn't have the help that he needs. That's not very motivating or encouraging, in my opinion, So anyway, we'll see what happens there with all of that. Okay. Well, I think that's it. We will be back next Saturday. Oh, Fashion for Passion. A few people have asked what's going on with that segment. Well, right now we just kind of are chilling with it. Hopefully we'll get some sponsorship for our Passion for Fashion segment and bring that back, so that we can talk about some of the wonderful fashion news that's out there and fashion trends and whatnot. But for now, we're kind of going to put it on the back burner until some other things fall into place. I think that's it. All right. So what I'll do now is tell you what love is. And love is when you can talk about everything. Yeah, you guys know I clipped this from the Chicago Sun-Times every week and share that with you because they years ago it caught my attention. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. I didn't start the show out doing this. I think 3 years in I started. But anyway, cute little cartoon caught my attention, and so I've just been adding it to the show ever since then. All right. So remember to find me on Twitter, Marilyn's Cafe Soch on Twitter. You can also find me on Facebook, Marilyn's Cafe Society. You can go to the website, marilynscafesociety.com, for the link to this YouTube channel, Marilyn's Cafe Society, on LinkedIn. On YouTube. And then I did want to share this number with you guys. Remember, we started out Cafe News with the report on the suicides of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain. But if you suspect that someone needs some help, or if you yourself need help and you're having suicidal thoughts, please call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. And, they'll be sharing some information. I'm sure if you Google suicide hotline or suicide intervention, there'll be some tips and information to share. And again, everybody, just take care of each other. Look out for each other. Really show, I don't want to say show concern, but be concerned about other human beings, you really don't know what's going on in other people's lives. Sometimes things are just going awry, but people are good at just pushing through and moving along, which is what we should do to some degree. But if you're having thoughts of depression, you're really feeling like you're acting to get through the day, and then when you get home, you let it all out, so to speak. That's not how to live. That's not a good way on how to live. If you want it dark in the house all the time and you don't want lights on or the windows up or curtains open, that's not how to live. If you don't want to talk to people or be around people, we all have those moments where we want to just pull back and be to ourselves. But if it's all the time, that's not how to live. If you just don't have joy in your heart and no reason to smile or laugh, that's not how God wants you to live. So open up to someone. Find someone that you can talk to and open up to, and seek help, and don't be embarrassed or ashamed of it, because we all at some point have been there or very close to being there. So just reach out, and for those who don't have to do that, put those antennas up, and really check in with people and pay attention to people. And I tell you, something happened to me at work yesterday. I wasn't down. I wasn't out. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't unhappy. I was pretty, in a pretty good place. I'm in a pretty good place right now, but here's something that cheered me up just a tad bit. And not that I needed cheering up. Sometimes you don't know what you need until, it happens. And so this lady walked past me and she said, "I left a gift over there for you." And I looked around because I thought maybe someone was behind me that she was talking to. She said, "No, I left something over there for you." She said, "You have a beautiful rest of the day and weekend, and God bless you," or "God loves you," or something along those lines. And I thought, So anyway, I walked over there where she said she left the gift, and there was this rose. It was a long stem with several roses on it, and a card that, and I left it at work. I forgot to put it in my bag to come home, but there was a card with a cheerful, bright message and words of encouragement. And it just did something to my spirit, and again, it wasn't that I felt unhappy or that, the day was going bad or anything, but it just lifted me. If you get what I'm saying, it just lifted me. Sort of like, when people smile at you, or when little kids make me smile, little babies make me smile all the time too. So it's like seeing a little smiley baby face. It was nice. So if we can do those kind of things throughout our day, as we move about our day, no matter where we go, I thought that was an excellent idea. And I shared it with coworkers, and they said, "Oh yeah, we saw that lady earlier with this basket full of flowers, and we were wondering what she was doing." So she was taking time from her day to walk around and stop at different locations and do that. Isn't that special? Random act of kindness. That's nice. So that gave me an idea. So I hope it gives you an idea too. Let's do that for each other, okay? All right, let's let the light of the Lord shine. All right, so here we go with my close. So if you don't do anything else this week, everybody, be sure that you live, you laugh, and you love. Oh, you know what? I was going to give you this number, this National Suicide Hotline number. Did I do that? Here, let me do that. 800-273-8255. 800-273-8255. I think I did already. I don't know. I started rambling. But anyway, if you don't do anything else, everybody, this week, be sure that you live, you laugh, and you love. And as always, it's been a pleasure and a privilege. We'll do it all over again next Saturday right here on Marilyn's Cafe Society on YouTube. Peace.